Hi, and welcome back to Helen Phelan Studio. I'm Helen, and today is a full body flowing Pilates class. It gets intense in the core, in the glutes, in your posture muscles, and then some fun full body planking at the end. You don't need any equipment, just yourself. Maybe a good attitude would help as well. And if you like this class, I'd love if you could like, subscribe, and share it with someone who loves Pilates. And I will see you on the mat. Welcome back to Helen Phelan Studio and to our holiday stress management challenge. Today we're working on a quick little full body flow, and even though it's packed into just a short amount of time, you're gonna feel it everywhere. So that we feel super grounded and connected and get a little bit less in the head, a little bit more in the body. So we're gonna get started with some core work. I want you to lay down on your back. Give yourself a little tuck under, give yourself a little arch open, just massage your low back through the ground. Allow that to feel like a nice, just gentle massage of the lumbar vertebrae. No worries if your spine is not completely hitting into imprint. Our backs are all shaped a little bit differently. We all have a different amount of curvature, but what I'm looking for is this rocking of the pelvis really over anything. So if your pelvis is a bowl, you're tucking it under, spilling the bowl of water onto your belly button. And then if it's a bowl the other way, you're spilling the water down into the floor. And then level it out so that you're halfway between each of those places. I'm gonna preemptively walk my fingertips all the way towards my toes so I feel this length in the neck area, and extend the legs straight to the sky. Now, if you're feeling tight in the hips and hamstrings, you bend the knees as much as you need to. Just make sure it's not a tabletop position. There's some elongation to that shape. My tailbone is still on the ground, so watch out that you didn't curl your tailbone under just to get the legs long. And you're gonna alternate one single straight leg stretch. Now, the trickiest part of this, after trying to not tuck your pelvis under, is not rocking the hips from side to side. So I have even weight distribution from right to left hip bones. And if you like, you can flex the top foot, which feel really good, for a nice extra stretch down through the bottom of the leg. And that'll be nice in a moment when we get closer to the end of class, where we're gonna be on our feet for some plank stuff, or on our knees for some plank stuff if you prefer. So already foreshadowing into that. Heavy through the rib cage. Enjoy that stretch. Now you're perfectly welcome to keep going with this variation if this feels good, you like that stretch, or this is just what you want to do today. Or you can squeeze those inner thighs together. Same thing, I'm gonna flex my feet at the top, but point my feet as I lower the legs. Now the catch here is that you cannot arch your back as those legs go down. So it's fine to keep it small. You'll notice it feels heavier because both of our legs are heavier than just one. So sometimes putting your hands underneath your butt is helpful, but not if you start to feel yourself doing that with the neck. So you shouldn't be going so low that the neck is taking over. I would rather you keep this soft and make it small, or take it back to this one-sided business. They're not easier variations. They're just ways to make sure that you're using the muscles that we want to use and softening through the muscles that we don't want to use. I am willing to bet my life that you do not need to strain your neck any more than you already do. Looking at social media, looking at your computer all day long. So let's keep our necks happy. Soft through those shoulders. I prefer an exhale down and inhale up. But if it feels good for you to inhale down and exhale up, you can play with that too. You want to think about harnessing that exhale on the exertion, on the toughest part of the movement. So you might feel like the up is where you need that support. Last two. Good rule of thumb for life as well. Last one. Now, I'm going to keep my legs, keep my toes reaching up towards the ceiling, and try a little tuck under, tap my toes to the ceiling, and roll it back down. Now I know that that can look really intimidating, so if you prefer, knees can stay bent. It's the same thing, but I don't want to rock onto my face. I want to be thinking knees as up as I can get. There will be a little bit of pulling in, that's just the nature of the movement, but I want to think vertical for as much as I can. Remember to keep those shoulders nice and soft. Just a few more. Never putting the weight onto your neck, so take your time. And then if you're feeling really good about these, you can add on either your single or your double leg lower in between each of those roll-ups. Try to keep focusing straight up. It's not very good for your neck to look to the side when you're in an inversion. So do as I say, not as I do. Exhale, lift up. Woo, roll it down, massage through that back body. Let's go 2 more of whichever variation is feeling good for you. Might take a little longer if you're adding in that double leg lower like me. And one last time. Rolling it all the way down. Plant your feet on the ground. Little windshield wiper side to side of those knees. And we're going to go into some bridging to activate into our lower body, but also to release our hip flexors from all that they just did. So still soft with those shoulders, curl the tailbone under, squeeze the glutes, through the glutes, roll it up, and slowly roll it back down. Enjoy that body roll. Exhale, lifting it up. Inner thighs are still hip width apart, knees are hip width apart, feet are hip width apart. And just like before, when we're doing our ab stuff, I want to make sure that I'm not craning my neck and my shoulders forward as I lower. So think a bit softer through this undulation. Start with your sternum, press it through the floor, find neutral. One more time. Lifting it up and we stay. Now from here in this bridge, like I said before, if you want to keep rolling up and down, if that feels good, you do that. Or you give me a little walk, alternating this exhale lift and soften back down. Now take your hands to your pelvis, make sure the hips are not rocking from side to side. You're staying nice and even. Nice C curve through that tailbone. Keeping the abs very engaged. Relaxed through those shoulders. We have one more on either side. And this is another option for you to stay. You can keep marching if you like. Or you can take the right leg up into the air so that the knee is in that tabletop position. You're squeezing into the glutes. And you're going to lower down to just above the floor. I'm not putting weight on my left butt cheek here. And rolling it right back up. So lower almost to the ground and lift right back up. It's like I'm doing that same bridge as before, just on one leg. If this bothers your back at all, I want you to put 2 feet down and just repeat either that march or the roll up, roll down. We're here to get your glutes and your hamstrings stronger, not to stress out your back. Hug the abs in as you lift. Feel that wrapping corseting as you lift. Keep the hips level, keep the left knee still. Telling myself. Last 3, 2. Now I have extra credit if you want it. Lift up, stay up, hold 5. Don't move anything, 4, but keep breathing. 3, 2, left butt cheek, 1, right foot down. Stay in your bridge, tuck your pelvis slightly more. Lift that left leg up. Now take it back down to the mat. Lift it back up. Now it might look like my butt is touching the floor, but I'm not actually putting weight in it. I'm sort of just tapping it down, lifting it right back up. Each time I lift up, I get this expansion through the right hip flexors, keeping this knee hugging towards the center. Check in with your shoulders, keep them soft. Don't let that stress tension creep into the neck. Don't let this right knee open wide. Keep it facing up to the ceiling. Last 2, we're gonna go for that hold again. And 1, stay up there. Holding still is the hardest thing you can do in Pilates. Keep tucking under the pelvis, really strong through the right glute. Give it a little tap, make sure it's working, make sure those muscles are on. One more deep breath. 2 feet on the ground. Tuck your tailbone under a little bit more C curve through the spine, and we finish that out with just little baby pulses. Dig your heels to the ground, try to drag your heels towards your butt. See if you can find a little more hamstring packed into the back of the leg, as well as into our strong glutes. Find that contraction on the squeeze lift, that soften on the lower. Same thing with your pelvic floor. This is what I'm visualizing with my pelvic floor and my glutes. As I lift, everything's engaged, and then it's soft. Engaged, and soft for 3, 2, 1. Body roll the spine down, keep those shoulders relaxed. Take the back of the right thigh into your chest, let the left leg go. Not too long spent here stretching. If you need more stretch after this, I want you to check out some of the stretch classes. But just so that we don't walk out, if you're feeling super tight, bend and stretch that right leg a few times. Extend it up, some circles at the ankle. Hello. Reverse it the other way. Why does nothing feel better than a hamstring stretch? It feels so good. It feels so good. Relax that leg down. Hug the left knee in. And then reach it up to the sky. Bend it back in. Same deal. You know your body best. So if you feel like you need to spend a little more time on one leg, maybe press pause on me and dive into some stretching a little bit more. That's totally fine. Reach the leg up and give yourself some circles. This is when I really feel how much tension I hold in my outer leg. So just noticing if there's one specific part of the circle, go both ways, where you're like, okay, that's some information. That's good to know. Or now I know why I was feeling like this. Sometimes it's very informative. Relax that leg down. And then log roll over onto your stomach. We're gonna do some posture, some more back body stuff. So my legs are hip width apart. You're gonna extend your arms all the way out in front of you. I like to go wider than the mat, or as wide as the mat rather, so there's no tension in the shrugging muscles. Press your pubic bone down through the floor so you have the abs hugging up and in and up and in. There we go. And you're gonna exhale, lift the upper body, hug the abs in. Inhale, soften it down. Keep the head and the chest on the ground. Now exhale, lift through the legs, squeezing through the glutes. Soften it back down. We alternate upper and lower. Hip extension here. Spinal extension here. It's very easy to sink into the low back. So as you lift, make sure you're not dumping down to the floor. Watch my pelvis here. So if I allow my back to take over, I'm overarching, I'm compressing my spine. If I keep that reach through the low back, I'm digging my hips into the floor. And you can see my abs are working a little bit more here, so all things a bunch happier when we're keeping the low back long. Exhale in. Last time. Now we put that all together, lift arms, head, chest, legs. Reaching through the toes, reaching through the fingertips without shrugging. Inhale back down. So I want to take a little time at the top each time. Really reach, feel yourself being pulled apart on a medieval stretcher in a loving way, not in a torturous way. Softening shoulders away from the ears. Think of the longest neck ever. Swanish. Shoulder blades gliding, not forcing, not slamming, but gliding into your back pockets. Really exaggerate that exhale each time. And you're gonna lift it up. You're gonna stay up. We hold. Give me a little squeeze between the shoulder blades, a little more squeeze in the butt. And now you're gonna squeeze your inner thighs together, pull the elbows into your side. Reach it back. Pull the elbows in together, squeeze the inner thighs. Everything is coming towards your center midline. Squeeze your spine with your shoulder blades. Squeeze your inner thighs, your pelvic floor. When I say squeeze the pelvic floor, I mean lift the pelvic floor. We're not just clenching, we're drawing upward. So not just squeezing, but the lifting that you do when you're trying not to go to the bathroom. Last two. Bring that lift all the way up into your belly button. Last time. Pelvic floor at your nose and reach it all the way back down. So we just add on a little bit more to that. Same idea with that open and close of the legs. I want to start with my legs hip width, thumbs right in line with the nipples here. Roll the shoulders down and back. You're going to push up into a knee plank or a straight leg plank. Now, if you're on your knees, this is going to be sort of like a step touch to the side. If you're on your toes, it's going to be a little literal step touch to the side. All right, so you come down, you push it up either to the knees or to the toes, and you either walk it out or tap it out. I want you to change which side you start the tap from. So start with the right and then the left, just to keep things even. If you like, you can push it up to plank right away. And then if you're feeling really good, this next few, this can be a plank jack. Just don't let your butt get too high. And I'm gonna go 2 of those to take up the same amount of time that we were taking with the step touch. Wider than the mat, back to hip width. Wider than the mat, back to hip width. 5 more. Choose a variation that feels challenging but sustainable but safe for you. 4 more. Those little plank jacks, even if they're in slow-mo, they really get your heart rate up. They're so intense. It is truly full body. Shoulders, arms, abs, inner thighs, pelvic floor. 3 more. Glutes, squeeze that butt at the top of your plank. Externally rotate those arms. Keep your elbows pointing towards your toes. We're working that open chest, strong posture. Stick with me one final time. Lift it up. Lift, lift, lift. You can be on your knees if you like. Last jacks. And butt to the sky. Ooh, pedal through those feet. Maybe giving even a little twist at the hips, if that feels good. And rest it all the way back down. You're gonna take your hands behind your back. Let the chest open. Let the chin fall forward. Feel that stretch to the back of the neck. And then turn that into a circle. Now, if you're feeling great and you feel like you have time and you want more, you can even rewind, start this class over, just for a little more spice if you want it. But remember, the whole idea of this challenge was to guarantee that you're making time for yourself every single day, even if it is just a short amount of time. So you are not expected to do it twice. There's no pressure. It's just up to you if you want to. And I will see you tomorrow. And I, of course, as always, want to know how classes are feeling for you, what's coming up for you, what's going on. So drop that below in the comments, and I'll see you tomorrow.